G'day guys, my name's Dave Tran and welcome to another GuitarZero2Hero song tutorial. And in today's lesson, I'll be teaching you how to play 1-800 by Logic. So this is a pretty basic song because once you learn one section, you're just going to be repeating that basically throughout the whole song. For the basics of this song, you'll need your guitar in standard tuning and you'll need a capo on the first fret of your guitar. So in this video, I'm going to teach you two different ways of playing this song. The first way I'm going to teach you, I believe, sounds the best on guitar, and it's pretty easy too. The second way I'm going to teach you how to play it is just by using some more simple open chord shapes. Now if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Alright, so let's get stuck into method 1. And for method 1, we have two lines of chords here. Now our first chord is basically a C major 7. So it's a C, but you lift your index finger. Now for all of these chords in this first method, we're not going to be hitting the 6th string. You really want to leave that 6th string out. You can strum all of the strings, even the first string if you want to, but it would sound best if you just play the middle 4 strings of this chord. So this is our first chord shape and we're just going to call it a C. Even though technically it's got another name, we're just going to call it a C for simplicity. Then for our next chord, it's the exact same shape, just moved up 2 frets. And again, you can hit all the strings from the 5th string onwards. You can even hit the 1st string, but ideally you just want to keep it to the middle 4 strings. Then for our next chord shape, you're just going to leave your ring finger where it is and slide this up 2 frets. You're going to lift your middle finger and your index finger will go on the 5th fret relative to the capo on the 4th string. And again, we're going to hit the same amount of strings. You want to keep that 6th string muted. And we're going to call this an E minor just for simplicity. Then for our 4th chord shape, it's the exact same shape that we had for our 1st and 2nd chords, but just now up at the 10th fret relative to the capo and the 9th fret relative to the capo. And we're just going to call this a G for simplicity. So those are our 4 chord shapes: our C, our D, our E minor, and our G. So those are the 4 chords for our first line. You're going to be hitting this C chord on the 1 beat. You'll hit the D chord on the 4 beat. The E minor will be on the next 1 beat. And the G will be on the 4 beat. So the first line of the main riff will sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So you're just going to play that first line 3 times. And for the 4th line, we have something similar, but there's a bit of a variation at the end. So our C, D, and E minor chord are all exactly the same. Now we don't go up to the G chord. What we're going to do with this E minor chord is that we're going to take this pinky and hammer it on to the 7th fret of the 4th string. So from your index finger to that pinky finger, whilst keeping your ring finger down here, like that. Now you're going to strum and hammer on at the same time. And you're going to do that twice on the 3 beat and the 4 beat. So for the last line, it will sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So those 2 hammer-on strums are just on the 3 and the 4 beat. So in total, the main riff will just sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now technically you could play that throughout the whole song if you wanted to, just keep repeating that over and over. But I'm going to teach you a strumming pattern that you can use for the choruses where there's more of a beat and more stuff is going on. So the strumming pattern we're going to use sounds something like this: down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Now for each strumming pattern there's going to be 2 chord shapes. And the point at which you're going to change chords is going to be on the second last down strum, or highlighted up in the annotation here. So from the C to the D, it will sound like this: down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And the same thing will happen from the E minor to the G. And in total, the first line with the strumming pattern could just sound like this: Now notice with all these chord shapes, your ring finger always stays on the 5th string. So one tip I have is to never lift your ring finger up off that string, otherwise you're just wasting energy. Always keep that ring finger down when you're changing in between these chords, because there's no need to lift it. Now for the second line of chords, we can keep that same strumming pattern for the C to the D, but the E minor will have its own strumming pattern, which will go down, 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 down. And the last 2 down strums are going to be where you're going to hammer on your pinky finger as well. Down, down. Now that hammer on is optional. You can just put your finger down on that 7th fret of the 4th string, down, down, instead of hammering it on. But the hammer on does sound better. So the second line of chords with the strumming patterns will sound like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 down. And the full riff with the strumming pattern, down, up, down, 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 down. Now the second way I'm going to teach you how to play this song is by just using simple open chord shapes. So our simple chord shapes are just C, regular D, and regular E minor, and a regular G. Now timing wise, it's going to be exactly the same as what I've taught you in the first method. So the first line of chords just sounds like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then you repeat that 3 times. Then for the second line of chords, after we hit this E minor, we're actually going to hammer on to an E sus4. So with your ring finger, you just put it onto the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, or hammer it on like that. So you're going to strum that twice, like, and that's on the 3 and the 4 beat. So the last line, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Again, you don't have to hammer it on. You can just put your finger down and strum those 2 last strums if you want to. And the main riff with this second method will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, Now when we implement the strumming pattern to these chords, the timing is going to be exactly the same as what we learnt in the first method. So you're going to change chords on the second last down strum of that strumming pattern, and for the last E minor we just have that altered strumming pattern, which sounds like this. Down, 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 down. And you're still going to play that E sus4, so hammer on with that ring finger. And with the strumming pattern, the second method will sound like this. So now I'm just going to be playing the first half of the song with the vocal track on top for some context. I'm not going to play the full thing because it literally is the same thing repeated over and over and over again. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my life ain't mine. I've been on the low, I've been taking my time. I feel like I'm out of my mind. It feel like my
Thanks for watching. Be sure to head over to GuitarZero2Hero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. If you've enjoyed this, then hit that like button, hit subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss out on the updates. Leave your thoughts, comments, questions, and requests below, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.